Welcome back to another episode. Have you started over more times than you want to admit? And I don't mean just once, I mean twice. I mean, you have been in this cycle, this exhausting, demoralizing, confusing cycle of building, burning, and then lounging and quitting, or believing and then doubting, of starting and then stopping more times than you can count on both hands. You have deleted the business, you have rebranded, you have pivoted the offer, you have changed the niche, you have quit the coaching program, you have hired a new coach, you have bought the course, you have read the book, you have done the vision board, you have written the goals, you have said the affirmations, and you're still right here in the same place. It's starting again and again, looking at a blank page, a blank Instagram, a blank business plan. Wonder what went wrong. And a part of you, a very quiet, very tired part of you, is asking a question. And you're almost too afraid to say it out loud. Is something wrong with me? And I want to answer that question today, fully, honestly, without sugarcoating it and without making you feel broken. Because the answer is no, nothing is wrong with you. But there is something inside of you, something deep, something that it was inherited, something that it has been running in the background of your life for years, maybe for decades, that needs to be seen, that needs to be healed. And until it is, you will keep repeating the same cycle no matter how good the strategy is, no matter how talented you are, no matter how badly you want it. And today, we're going to talk about what is that thing. What is it? We're going to go deep. We're going to go into the science of it, the spiritual truth of it, and the practical reality on what it actually takes to break this cycle once and for all. So if you are ready, if you are truly ready to stop starting over and to finally build something that lasts, stay with me. This conversation, it will change everything. Let me paint you a picture. You remember the day that idea came to you? You remember exactly where you were in a shower, you were driving, or maybe you were sitting in a job that you hated. You were staring at the clock, thinking that it has to be more to this, and something lit up inside of you. A vision, a possibility, a version of the life that it felt so real, so close that you can almost touch it. And then you got excited, really excited, the kind of excitement that it makes you stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning, building a website, designing a logo, writing an offer, telling your sister, telling your mom, telling your best friend, this is it. This is the one. This time I'm doing it. You're invested. Maybe it was time, maybe it was money. Sometimes money that you did not have, money you put in a credit card, money that you borrow, money that it made your stomach tight every time you thought about it, but you invested anyways because you believed it. And the belief felt like it was enough. And for a little while, it was beautiful. You were posting, you were showing up, you were creating content, you were sending emails, doing the live, showing up in the DMs. You were on fire. You can feel the momentum building. You can feel it that it was getting real. And then something happened. Maybe it was a launch that it did not convert. Maybe you pour everything into that offer and only 3 people show up. And then out of those 3 people, maybe one buy or maybe none of them buy. Maybe a client says something critical, something that it hit the nerve that you didn't even know that it was exposed. Maybe you look at your numbers, your followers, your views, your income, and compare them to someone else. And then you felt so small, so behind, so invisible that you did not want to show up anymore. Or maybe nothing specific happened at all. Maybe you just woke up one day and the fire was gone. The motivation was not there anymore. The words were not coming. The ideas felt flat. And instead of pushing through it, you start to pull back, posting less, going quiet, telling yourself you were taking a break, You were just reassessing. You were just figuring out your next move. Until the break became a month. And then the month became 3 months. And by the time you came back, if you came back, you had to convince yourself the whole thing that it needed to be different. New niche, new name, new offer, new energy. This time it will be different. And then the cycle is start again. I need you to hear this and I need you to hear it clearly. That is not a business problem. That is not a marketing problem or a strategy. What you just heard me describe, that pattern of building, burning, launching, and quitting, believing, and doubting, that is a subconscious problem. That is your nervous system problem. That is an identity problem. And I need you to understand the difference because until you do, you will keep trying to solve a deep internal, a spiritual problem with the external surface level strategic solution. And it will never work. Let me explain what is actually happening inside of you. There is a research, groundbreaking, peer-reviewed scientific research that tells us that by the time we're adults, the vast majority of who we are is not conscious, is not deliberated, is not chosen. It is automatic. Think about that. The way you respond when somebody criticizes you is automatic. The way you feel when you check your bank account is automatic. The way you shrink when it's time to be visible, to be bold, to charge what is your worth, that is automatic. The way you self-sabotage right when things are about to start getting really good, that is automatic. These are not character flaws. These are programs. Programs that they were installed in you before you were older enough to question them. Programs that they were written the first years of your life in the home you grew up in, the environment that it shaped you, and the message, spoken or unspoken, those messages that you received about who you were and what you were allowed to have. And here's what those programs are doing. They are running in the background of the business decisions that you're making. Every offer you create, every price you set, every live video, either you do it or you don't do it. Every DM you either send or delete. Every client you either sign up or let it walk away. Your conscious mind, the part of you that watched the webinar, read the book, hired the coach, made the plan, that part knows exactly what to do. That part is brilliant. That part is capable. That part can see the vision so clear. But your conscious mind, the 95%, the program, the automatic part, she has a complete different agenda for you. And her agenda is not success. Her agenda is safety. Her agenda is familiarity. Her agenda is survival. And to her, starting over is safe. Is staying small, is familiar. Is staying invisible, is survival. Because at some point in your life, early in your life, being seen was dangerous. Being too much was punished. Wanting too much, it was selfish. Succeeding meant abandonment or judgment, or the loss of love from someone you desperately needed. You don't remember the moment when it happened, but your body does. Your nervous system does. And it is still right now, today, making decisions based upon that threat that it no longer exists. That is why you keep starting over and over. Not because you are not smart enough, not because you're not talented enough, not because the market doesn't want what you have, but because the version of you who was shaped by pain, by lack, by fear, by survival, she's still driving the car. And she will keep driving that car until you take the wheel. Now, I want to go deeper because there is a layer to this that most coaches will never talk about it with you. A layer that when you understand it, it will completely change how you see yourself in this pattern. And this is the science of inherited trauma. Stay with me here because this is important. Science has discovered, and this is the documented, this is real. The trauma is not just psychological. Trauma is biological. It's at the cellular level. It can be passed down from generation to the next generation and through the way of our genes, the way we express ourselves. That means the anxiety that you feel around money, it might not be yours originally. It might be your mother's or your grandmother's, or it might come from a generation of women in your family who survived poverty, who built their entire identity around scarcity, who learned that security came from staying small and not wanting too much. The fear of visibility, of being seen, of being public, of putting your face on a video and saying, this is who I am, this is what I believe, that might be inherited too. From a woman who were silenced, from women who were punished for speaking, from women who learned to make themselves invisible because visibility, it was not safe. That pattern of self-sabotage, of getting close to something real and then burning down, that might be the echo of generation of women who were never allowed to receive. You were conditioned to give everything and keep nothing. Who believe that too much success will cost them something they cannot afford to lose. You inherited that program. A beautiful, complex, deeply human program. In that program, it has been quietly running business decisions without you even knowing. So I need you to hear this. When you start over again, it's not weakness. It's not being lazy. It's not lack of discipline, desire, or faith. It's a program doing exactly what a program does. Running an autopilot, protecting you for something that it was trained to believe that it was dangerous. And the way you break that program is not by working harder. The way you break that program is by reprogramming. And this is where I need to be very direct with you, because this is the part that most people skip. This is the part that most coaches, even well-meaning, talented coaches, fall short. They will give you the strategy. They will give you the funnel. They will give you your content calendar. They will give you the sales script. And you will implement. You will implement all of the things that they give you for a while, and maybe it will even work for a while. Until the program kicks back. And you find yourself once again walking away from what you have built. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud in the business world. A strategy without healing is just a more sophisticated way of staying stuck. Let me say that again. A strategy without healing is just a more sophisticated way of staying stuck. You can have the best funnel in the world and a broken belief about whether you deserve clients. You can have the most beautiful website and a deep unconscious conviction that success is dangerous. You can have a perfect script sales call and a nervous system that it fires every alarm in your body the moment someone says yes, because receiving feels unsafe, because being chosen feels unreal, because a part of you is still waiting for the other shoe to drop. And every time that happens, and every time the strategy works and the program overrides it, you conclude that the strategy is the problem. So you change the strategy, you pivot, you start over, but the strategy was never the problem. You were never the problem. The programming was the problem. And here's what I want you to understand about the difference between adding more strategy and doing the real work. Adding more strategy feels productive. It feels like action. It gives you something to do with the discomfort, something to focus on so you don't have to sit with the real question, which is, why do I keep sabotaging my own success? The real work feels vulnerable. It feels low. It asks you to look at yourself, really look at yourself, not the Instagram version of you, not the vision board, not the version your present bio has, but the real version of you, the one who is tired, the one who's scared, the one who's still carrying things that belong to someone else. The real work is not glamorous, but it's the only thing that it actually breaks the cycle. Now, I want to talk about your nervous system, because I think this is the missing piece for many women entrepreneurs, and I want you to really understand this. Your nervous system has one job, one primary function. And that function is not to help you build a six-figure business. It's not to help you grow your Instagram. It's not to help you show up consistently and convert those consistency into clients and build an empire. The job is to keep you alive. And it does that job by constantly scanning your environment for threats. It always asking, is this safe? Is this familiar? Is this known? And when the answer is no, when something feels unfamiliar, uncertain, unknown, your nervous system activates. It sends a signal to your whole body to be careful, to slow down, to pull back. This is dangerous. Now, here's the problem for ambitious women. Growth is unfamiliar. Visibility is unfamiliar. Charging premium price is unfamiliar. Having consistent clients, receiving praise, recognition in real financial success is unfamiliar. If you did not grow up with these things, if there were no modeling of these things that you want, if there were no part of your family experience, this will feel unfamiliar. And to your nervous system wired for survival, unfamiliar equals dangerous. So every time you start to grow, every time you get close to the next level, your nervous system pulls the alarm and you feel it in your body. The anxiety before the post, the tightness before the sales call, the resistance before the launch, the exhaustion that it hits right when you're about to build a momentum. That is not procrastination. That is not laziness. That is a nervous system doing what it's designed to do. And the answer is not to punish it through more discipline and more hustle. The answer is to regulate it, to train it, to teach it slowly, consistent, with intention that the next level is safe, the growth is safe, the success is safe. That is the work. That is what nobody is talking about in the business space. And I'm saying this and I'm sharing this because I have to do all of this and I have to live through all of this. They are telling you to push, to hustle, to do it even when you're scared, to show up even when you don't feel it. And sometimes that is true. Sometimes you do have to move before you feel ready. But if you are doing all of that, if you are pushing and hustling and doing it scared without addressing your nervous system, what is happening underneath, without regulating the alarm system that it keeps firing up every time you get close to something real, you are going to burn out. You are going to hit the wall. You are going to walk away again and again because you cannot build a sustainable business from a dysregulated nervous system. You can just not. The foundation of a successful business is not a good strategy. The foundation of a successful business is a regulated, healed, and grounded woman who knows who she is, knows what she's worth, and knows at a cellular level, not just intellectually, that she is safe to succeed. That is what we build first. Everything else comes after. I want to talk to you about identity because this might be the most important thing I said in this entire video. You do not rise to the next level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity, which means that if your goals say, I want to build a six-figure coaching business, but your identity says, I am someone who always struggles with money, your identity wins every time. If your goal says, I want consistent clients and full calendar, but if your identity says, I'm someone who can never get that traction, your identity wins. If your goal says, I want to be visible, magnetic, your identity says, I am someone who's too much or not enough or somewhere in between, your identity will win. This is why my goal sitting alone does not work. This is why vision boards alone do not work. This is why affirmations alone do not work. Not because they're bad tools, but because if you are using them to try to paint over an identity that it has not been changed, you are just decorating the same old house. The house has to change. You have to change. And I don't mean change in a way the world tells you or the world tells women to change. Thinner, quieter, more beautiful, more marketable. I mean change in the deepest way. The way that happens is when you finally decide to stop being who your pain made you to be and start becoming who your purpose is calling you to be. Because here's what I know about you. You have a calling, not just a business idea, not just a service, a calling, a reason why you are here, a contribution that only you, with your exact story, your exact pain, your exact healing, can make it to the world. And that calling has been trying to come through you for years, maybe your whole life. And it is the thing that keeps bringing you back after every time you walk away. It is the thing that it won't let you quit. Even when everything you want is falling, you will still not quit. That calling is real, but it cannot fully come through a version of you who's still hiding, who's still running an old programs, who's still letting a wounded identity make decisions. The calling needs the version of you that is healed. The calling needs the woman who has done the work. The calling needs her, and she is in you. She has always been in you, but she needs to be called for deliberately, intentionally. And sometimes, often, she needs support to emerge. So, what does this healed version of you look like? Let me describe her to you. She doesn't abandon her business when it gets hard. She feels the fear and she moves anyways. Not because she has suppressed the fear, not because she has hustle culture her way past it, but because she has done the work to understand where the fear comes from and she's no longer making her decision from that fear. She does not delete the page when she doesn't get 100 likes. She's not measuring her worth by metrics. Her worth is not on the table. Her worth is settled. Her identity is grounded. It's something that in the algorithm, it cannot touch. She doesn't quit the coaching program when it gets uncomfortable. She understands that discomfort is not danger. She has learned to tell the difference between the discomfort and real growth. And the alarm of the nervous system that is just needs regulation. And she leans into discomfort because she knows what it is on the other side of it. She charges what she's worth without apologizing, without discounting, without holding her breath, waiting for someone to tell her that she's too expensive. She shows up consistently, not perfect, but consistently. Because her identity as a business owner, as a coach, as a leader is not dependent upon how she feels on any given day. She receives money, praise, recognition, love, support without immediately finding a reason to give it back or minimize or decide she doesn't really deserve it. She stays. She's the woman who stays, not because she's immune to doubt or fear or exhaustion, but because she has built something inside herself that is stronger than those things. A foundation, an identity, a knowing of who she is and why she's here. Why she cannot be shaken by a bad lunch or a slow month or an unkind comment. That woman is not a fantasy. That woman is you on the other side of the work. And the question is not whether she exists. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes to become her? Let me tell you what the work it actually looks like. Because I think a lot of women hear inner work and they picture journaling, maybe some meditation, maybe a bubble bag with some candles and crystals. And those things are beautiful. I'm not dismissing them. But the inner work, the one that I'm talking about, is different. It's the work of identifying the specific beliefs that they are running your business decisions. The ones you did not choose, the ones that they were given to you, the ones that they have been operating below the surface. And the consciously deliberating, replacing them with the beliefs that you actually believe they're true. Not just affirmation, not just positive thinking, but a genuine, deep body shift in the story you tell about yourself and what is possible for you. It is the work of learning to regulate your nervous system, not just in moments of crisis, but it's a daily practice. A non-negotiable part of you who show up in your life and your business, learning to move from the state of contraction and fear to a state of expansion and trust, learning to make decisions from there, from the expanded place, rather than from a contracted, scared, small place. It is the work of healing the specific wounds that are driving your self-sabotage. The womb of unworthiness that it makes you undercharged. The womb of invisibility that it makes you go quiet when it's time to be seen. The womb of abandonment that it makes you quit before someone can reject you. The womb of being perfect that it keeps you preparing and preparing and preparing without ever actually launching. These are not character flaws. They are wounds, and the wounds need to be healed. And it is the work of building a new identity intentionally, choosing every single day to be the woman who stays, the woman who receives, the woman who leads, the one who builds, the one who is healed enough to hold the success that her talent has always been capable of creating. This is not an easy work. And I will not stand here and tell you that it's easy, but I will tell you this. It is the only work that it actually works. Every other approach, every other strategy, every other tactic, every funnel, every content plan is built on top of this work. And if this work is not done, every time you build on top of it, it will eventually collapse. But when this work is done, when you have built the foundation, the strategy will work. The content will flow. The clients will come. The money will come. The ease will come. Not because the external world suddenly changed, but because you changed, because the woman that is running the business changed, because the identity changed, and that changes everything. I want to talk to you about something that I see all the time in the women that I work with. Something that I think is one of the most heartbreaking parts of this pattern. They wait, they hear the truth like I am sharing right now, they feel it in their body, they recognize themselves in every word, they know that it is there, that this is the missing piece, and then they wait. They wait until the time is better, until the money situation is more stable, until the kids get older, until they feel more ready, until life settles down a little bit more. And while they're waiting, the cycle continues. Another launch that it doesn't convert, another offer that it gets scraped, another business name deleted, another fresh start that is slowly fades. And the waiting doesn't feel like waiting. It feels like being responsible. It feels like being practical. It feels like wisdom. But I want to challenge you on that. Because here's what I know about waiting. Waiting is the most expensive thing you will ever do. Not financially, although it's expensive financially, but it's expensive in the ways the money cannot measure. It's expensive in time, in months, in years that pass while you're still in the same cycle of trying to build legacy. It is expensive in energy, in the emotional and mental toll of starting over, of disappointment, of hope. And it is expensive in your life, and the version of your life that is waiting on the other side of the healing to keep postponing. The women that I work with, the ones who have made the decision, who stopped waiting, who committed to doing the real work, they do not come to me and say, I wish I have waited a little longer. Every single one of them comes and says, I wish I have done this sooner. Everyone. So I want to ask you something. What are you waiting for? Not as a challenge, it's a real question. What is the thing that it feels that it needs to happen before you're allowed to invest in yourself? Before you're allowed to take yourself seriously? Before you're allowed to do the work that you really know is the work that is actually will change things around you? Because whatever that thing is, I want you to look at it closely. Because that thing, that condition, that when this happened, then I will, that might be the program that I'm talking about. That might be the part of you that it has keeping you safe by keeping you small. Telling you one more reason why this is not the right time. There is never a perfect time. There is only a decision. And the decision is available to you right now. I have worked with women who came to me completely broken, not broken in a dramatic way, broken in the quiet, in the private way the women carry. The woman who smiled on Instagram and fell apart at home. The woman who showed up for her clients and had nothing left for herself. The woman who have tried everything, every program, every strategy, every approach, and it was starting to believe that maybe she was just not meant for this. And I want you to know, without exception, every single one of those women had everything they needed to build something extraordinary. Not despite her story, but because of it. The very things that felt like liabilities, the struggle, the pain, the years of starting over, the wounds that they were carrying, those were not obstacles to her. They were the content of her purpose. They were made for her real message. They were what it made her coaching powerful. They were what it made her the exact right person to reach those women that she was called to reach. But she had to do the work first. She had to heal enough to stop letting the past run to the present. She had to build an identity strong enough to hold the business that she was trying to build. She had to become the woman on the other side. And she did. They all did it. And their business is not just improved, it's transformed because the foundation changed, because they changed. And that is available to you right now. Not after one more course, not after one more strategy, not after a fresh start. No, right now is available to you. So here's what I want to say before I close this video. If you have been watching this and something is stirring up in you, if something I have said has landed in a place that it feels true, that feels like a recognition, that feels like, yes, that is me. That is exactly what is happening to me. I want you to pay attention to that feeling. Not because I'm asking you to make a decision that you're not ready, but because that feeling, that recognition, that moment is not an accident. You did not stumble onto this video. You were led here. And that part of you that it was led here, that is the part of you that is ready. That is the version of you who's tired of the same cycle, who is done with starting over, who knows deeply, quietly, certainly knows that there is another way. And I want to help you find that way. I have limited spots available for private coaching. This is not for everyone. I want to be honest with you about that. This work is deep, it's real, and it requires to be genuinely ready to look at yourself, to do those hard things, to commit to become the woman on the other side of this. And if that is you, if you are done doing the cycle, done with starting over, done with the strategy, that strategy that it doesn't stick, I want to have a real conversation with you. Go to www.therealnextlevel.com and apply. This is not a sales call. Let me be very clear about this. This is a strategic conversation, a real, honest, deep conversation about where you are, where you want to be, and what is truly standing between you and the business, in the life that you know you are capable of building. There is no pressure, there is no pitch, there is just truth. And if we are the right fit, we will know. And if we're not, you will still leave the conversation with clarity that changes something for you. But you have to take the first step. And the first step is to apply by going to www.therealnextlevel.com right now, no later, not when timing is better, right now. Because the woman you are becoming does not wait, she decides. And before I let you go, I want to ask you to do something else. If this video landed for you, if something moved, if something shifted, and if you felt something, and if you recognize yourself in what I shared today, please like this video. It sounds like a small thing, but it matters. It tells the algorithm that this message is worth spreading. And there are women right now, women who are in the middle of another fresh start, women who are sitting in the exhaustion cycle, who need to hear this. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because this is the work we do here. Every single video, we go deep, we go real. We talk about the things that other coaches are not talking about, because the surface level conversation is not changing anyone's life. And I am not here to be comfortable. I'm here to be useful. Share this video, send it to a woman in your life who you know is stuck in this pattern. You know who she is. She's your friend who keeps pivoting, your sister who keeps quitting right before the breakthrough, your fellow entrepreneur who's brilliant and talented and it cannot seem to get where she wants to be. And she doesn't understand why. Send her this. It might be the thing that it changes everything for her. And also leave me a comment. I want to know, how many times have you started over? Be honest. This is a safe space. I'm not judging. I'm asking because your answers matter, because your story matters, and because sometimes just naming it, saying it out loud is the beginning of breaking that cycle. I read every comment because you are not just a viewer to me. You are a woman that I am in conversation with, a woman that I'm rooting for, a woman who came here because something in her is ready for more. And I believe in that readiness. I believe in you. I love you. I see you. And I will see you on the next episode.